Hi, everyone. We're going to talk about rights, duties, and privileges of citizens and what is citizenship. So, when we're in world geography, we're talking about in general globally. When last year you were in US history, we specified American citizenship. In this lecture, we're going to go over the notes. There are two different videos, they're short and sweet. I'm not going to go over them with you. What I want you to do is go through this instruction video, learn about the rights, duties, and privileges of citizens globally, and watch the videos that are in this notes, which are attached to your lesson notes in your folder. And also, please watch the videos that I have put separately. You also have a reading about citizenship today, and I really would like for you to go through it because it will help you with your final activity. Let's get started. Citizenship is a characteristic of an individual as viewed as a member of their society. It is a behavior in terms of what their duties are and their obligations and how they function as a citizen. So basically, all that means is citizenship is how you, as a member of your society, contribute back to that society and contribute back to your fellow humans, and also how you work in balance with your government. This is the first video that you're going to have. When you go back and watch it, it's really short and sweet and simple, and it just discusses what I just talked to you about, how we as people can make a difference in our own society. Now we're going to talk a little bit about political involvement. So this includes voting, running for office, and basically just feeling like you have the backing and strength to contribute to your local, state, federal government. So citizens vote on their representatives in the United States and a few other countries which have like various forms of democratic systems, which we went over in our government lesson last week. Review that information. Um, and when we talk about political involvement, that includes us running for city council or even the head of our school, running for president of our school. That's political involvement. We have voting. So as you can see, all these people are waiting to vote. Voting is done at all levels. So you have your local vote for mayor or your sheriff, your state vote for who would be our governor, or different laws. And then you have federal, which we vote for who's going to represent us in DC, and um, what laws do we want to work in our favor? What people do we want to be there representing our community, our people, our society? And all citizens are allowed to vote without being stopped because of their race or religion, whatever their creed is. That's our right to vote, our right to play our part in how the government functions. Now let's look at civic duties. Civic is community. So we as citizens, our job to be productive members of our society is to be involved in our community, to be involved in the election process at all levels, to express our opinions without being retaliated or recriminated against, to work with our community to make it better. So civic duties and community involvement are us working with the people that we know around us, the people that we don't know who are in our neighborhoods, who are living right by us, and working with them to make our world a little bit better. Take a look at a couple of different rights and responsibilities that we as citizens have. We participate in civic groups. Remember, civic duty and community involvement are one and the same. When we talk about civics, we're talking about working in our community to make that better. That is us trying to form and find ways to make our local government, our national and state government work for our society and our community. Then we have the ability to freely participate in religious expression. We are allowed to believe in whatever spiritual entity we desire. No one can tell us to change our beliefs and how we feel. That is a right. We are allowed to live without fear, regardless of our political beliefs, our religious beliefs, our skin color, our gender. We are allowed to live a life of safety and security in our country. And it's even more important when you're working with your community to ensure that everyone feels safe, everyone feels heard, everyone feels like they are truly a member of a community, that they are heard. And then lastly, on this slide, we have the right to a fair trial and assembly. So a fair trial meaning that it is impartial, like you're not judged before all the facts are given. You are allowed to gather peacefully to show your support or to show your protest against whatever may be happening in your area or nationally. We have those rights as citizens, and it's also a freedom that is given to us as just human beings to be able to know that we can speak our mind safely without trying to hurt anybody, and to have a fair trial in that we can have a functioning justice system. Okay, now let's discuss citizen duties. These are things that we need to do as people in our society in order for it to function better and for our government to function better. We need to pay our taxes. These are required by local, state, and federal levels, national levels, and by paying our taxes, it puts money back into our government, who then is able to enact certain things that will help the community and the country on a bigger scale. Our next duty is that we have to obey federal laws passed by the national government, and we have to obey our local and state laws and all of those governments therein. So remember in our last lesson, we were talking about the different levels of government. When it comes to laws, there are a lot. You have national laws created by the federal government, and then you have state laws created by whatever state you're living in, and you have local city laws, and those change wherever you go. Our job as citizens is to know those laws so that we can follow them, and so that we are functioning in a way that shows respect for the law, but also shows respect for ourselves. When we are obeying those laws, we are ensuring the safety of everyone in the community and not just ourselves. It also means that in our previous slide, when we talked about assembly, where we have the right to assemble to peaceful protest, that if there is a law that we disagree with, we can work with our community to try and understand that law, or to try and change that law so it functions better for the people that are supposed to follow it. And that is all part of being a citizen, is we need to educate ourselves about what is going on in our surroundings and what our government is doing, so that we can either function and follow properly, or we can function to work together to change it, to make it better for everyone. Now let's talk about judicial duties. When I say judicial, as you should have learned last year in 8th grade, we're talking about the court systems, judges, juries, laws. So it is the duty of a citizen to participate in the legal process as either a witness or a juror A juror is like the people who sit off to the side and they decide like if the facts are true or not. And it's all dependent on what country you're in, what region you're in, and how that changes. But everybody has the right to participate in the legal process in some way. So that's either appearing as a witness, which means they have to report to the court um, after they have received a subpoena, which is a court order saying that they would like to speak to you and they want you to tell whatever you saw or heard or spoke about to your experience. And you also have to participate in a jury selection process, which, unless you're disqualified or excused for, is basically that you are giving that fair trial that we just talked about to someone else, listening to those facts, looking at the evidence, and and deciding what the outcome should be. Because part of that fair trial part is in the Bill of Rights for the United States, which is that we have a trial by jury. So it's people from our community who are like us, looking at the evidence, looking at the facts, and seeing what is true and what is false, and deciding how the outcome of the trial goes. That's judicial. Now let's talk about military. So some national governments require military service from all of its citizens. So you turn a certain age and everybody is required to sign up for the military. Remember, that's not the case for every country. In the United States, we don't require that every citizen is signed up for the military, although we do have in the US where boys at the age of 18 are required to sign a conscription form, which basically means like in a extreme emergency where we would require basically almost everyone to be in a military kind of mindset, into a military state. For example, like it was during World War II, where they would need more military personnel, they would have that list of people and they can call them and be like, okay, you need to come in and do this. But that's in extreme cases. That's the United States. Most countries, they just have a volunteer service where people on their own individually decide to join the military or not. Some countries, like for example, Israel, it's required for every citizen to work for the military in some form or fashion. This is the other video that I discussed, the one of two. So this is the second one. It's short, and it goes over just what in general it is to be a good citizen and a productive member of your society. So please review these notes and review the reading that is attached, the two videos that are attached before you do your assessment. And just in general, please remember that we must respect others. Tolerance is not only putting up with other people who are different than ourselves. It is about trying to understand other points of views and accepting those differences and making the world a better place for everyone to live. That's what citizenship is all about, that we respect our differences and we choose to actively learn and understand the other point of view so that we can make our community, our family, friends, the people in our lives, and the world as a whole a better place. Because the more we learn about each other, the more we can understand each other, the more we can show respect for one another and live in a way that helps people thrive and grow. And that is citizenship. We work with each other, our community, our government, to make our society better. Please make sure you review these notes. Please make sure you watch those videos and read that article before you continue on to your activity for today. Remember, you can always reach out to me for help, and I hope that this really gets you thinking about how you can help your community and those in your lives so that everyone feels like they have been heard and they are seen and respected. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.